Have you ever wondered what to do when everything that you've depended on begins to crumble? Well, that's the exact moment that we're entering into these final chapters, the book of Jeremiah and book of Lamentations. Nations, they rise and they fall, and Jerusalem is left in ruins. God's people are left to wrestle with a lot of questions and a lot of grief. Now, before we dive in further, I'm Pastor Ryan. This is Bible in a Year. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it with a friend as we journey through the Bible this year. Let's begin by summarizing how Jeremiah concludes before we move into the laments that follow. These last chapters of Jeremiah, they expand beyond Judah because Jeremiah, he delivers prophecies against other nations as well, like Egypt, Moab, Ammon, Edom, Damascus, Elam, and finally Babylon itself. And the message is consistent throughout. God himself rules over every kingdom, and no nation is beyond his reach. Babylon, the very tool of Judah's judgment, would itself one day fall under God's hand. And the book here ends with the tragic fulfillment of Jerusalem's destruction and exile. But even in all of this, there's a flicker of hope because God's justice is never the end of the story. There's more of his mercy and his grace that follows. From judgment being fulfilled here, we move into the book after Jeremiah. The process is what loss feels like. It's the book of Lamentations. And this is a book of grief. It's traditionally attributed to Jeremiah, and it contains 5 poems, most written as acrostics, actually. They're structured laments designed to show us that even grief itself can be expressed with intention and brought before God. The purpose of this, it's raw and clear, to mourn the fall of Jerusalem, to name the pain of sins and consequences, to wrestle with where God's faithfulness is in the midst of the ruins. And the high point comes in chapter 3, where it declares, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." So even in lament here, hope holds together. With that overview, let's draw out the spiritual worldview in this to pay attention as we read throughout this week. Because exile wasn't just an historical or geographical event playing out here, it was a spiritual reality. When Judah was taken from the land, it showed the devastating cost of sin and the ache of separation from God's presence. Exile was discipline, not abandonment in this. And God was allowing his people to feel the distance that their disobedience had created. This ultimately points us straight to Jesus. On the cross, he took that ultimate exile upon himself when he cried, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He bore that separation that we deserved so that we could be restored to the Father. And here's why that really matters for us today. There's going to be seasons of loss or silence or distance, and we may feel like we're in exile, but in Christ, we are never truly abandoned. He has already carried our exile, and his Spirit assures us that God is with us, even in these dark places. With that in mind, let's close with encouragement for the reading this week. These chapters, they show us the seriousness of sin, yes, the pain of grief, yes, but also the mercy of God and the hope of restoration. So here's the challenge that we're faced with as we read. Where do you turn when life crumbles? Do you run in fear, or do you cry out in faith to the God who never leaves us? May the Lord bless you as you read this week. As you finish the book of Jeremiah, get in through the book of Lamentations. May God give you hope and courage to lament honestly with a hope to trust that his mercies, they never end, they're new every morning.